talk about the halftime show because, well, it's funny. I wasn't actually sure if I wanted to talk about the halftime show here. I left it to an Instagram poll asking, an Instagram poll asking if people wanted me to talk about it, and it was about 92% yes.
Okay,
so we're gonna talk about it.
That's a solid yes.
So it's a no. It's a no for me, dog.
You're gonna be
We're
like
talking
it's like a
about
50-50 split. No, 92%.
coin flip. So I figured it was important to talk about because there was so much divide on this halftime show. And
It
it's
seems
funny,
that way, huh? Yeah.
And it's funny because we both actually liked the show. I really liked the show a lot personally, and it's okay if we disagree in that regard.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
no.
was really impressed with it.
I can't disagree that you liked it.
No, yeah. Well, I really liked it.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
opposed to, do I think it's one of the best shows ever? No. Do I think it was a strong, solid middle of the pack? Yes.
Yeah, I would say we're in agreement there. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. There was nothing about it that made me think this is in the contest for greatest ever, but it was very enjoyable.
I became a Weeknd fan afterwards, and
Yeah,
it's not that
you mentioned.
It's not that I exactly wasn't before. It's just what's really great with the halftime show in particular when they do these big 12, 13-minute sets. I had forgotten how big his catalog was of music, and like it kind of adds up after a while. You go through the radio and you think, oh, here's another Weeknd song, and either you listen to it or you don't because you've heard it enough times and move on. But when you add it up enough times, you have a solid catalog of at least 20 songs to work with that you could all splice into a 15, 20-minute set. And
Lucha
as a
Bear
result, I liked it.
Lucha Bear says he also became a Weeknd fan from the performance.
I think for me, I also found out, I don't know if you saw the video that we put in the Discord. So apparently the extra $7 million that went into the performance that we talked about, what's he going to spend it on? I think he spent it on the 40-pound ruby studded jacket that he was wearing.
And then people are going to be like, why isn't he dancing? You dance in a 40-pound jacket. Come on.
That explains everything, folks. And it's not that it didn't look good. It looked good, but I didn't think they were rubies on his jacket. They didn't show in the night sky of Tampa.
Could you not get like the same effect with a $40 DIY
now maybe
Diamante painted red or something?
Exactly.
I mean,
maybe if he was doing the show in
just
San
get red
Francisco,
glitter.
like when they did Super Bowl 50, when they did the halftime show, it was still daylight out. So that was West Coast time. So then maybe you could still show it.
You're going to see them shine.
You're not going to see it in the pitch black, especially when it's not a full-sized audience, too, with all those camera lights shining on you. So I thought that was kind of a minute point. I thought the lights went. I thought the money went to the lights, like the light room and stuff.
We were talking about this the other day, and I was like, I think he spent money on fireworks.
And I was thinking that's always part of the budget.
That's already
I guess
covered.
it went to the jacket that he wore.
Ruby suit.
I mean, it looked fire, but I
heard
just
of
didn't
ruby
register
slippers.
I didn't register that it was going to be a ruby suit that he was doing.
I wonder if he went. Lucha says the money went to backup dancers. I'm sure they didn't get paid that much.
I don't think they got paid anything because they weren't professional dancers. I found out afterwards. So they had.
Oh, they got. I hope they got paid something. Like $50. Come on.
Maybe something like that. But they weren't dancers that they called in. They were random people. There were 4 people that live in Tampa that were a part of the show that were just random guys, basically, and they were talking about how they needed to rehearse constantly to get it right because they're not dancers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trained dancers at all. But if they miss a step in rehearsal, like, nope, run it back again and do it over.
Wow.
So all of these people weren't dancers. And what I liked about that is I thought that was an extension of what the Weeknd is as a non-dancer.
Yeah.
As opposed to some halftime shows where the halftime performer will obviously be the headliner, but there are going to be many spectacular things happening around them. Madonna is the best example that I can think of. You had guys like string hopping, like doing all kinds of trapeze stuff, and you had other dancers like basically lifting each other, hands, feet, all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, that's like next level.
But Madonna's still the headliner.
What about the people in the backstage area though?
I think those were. I think those were because that had to be coordinated in terms of the tight room and having someone knowing that person's going to grab the camera at a certain point. I think that would have been more rehearsed than what was done on the field. Yeah,
and that was a tight space. They didn't have much room to work in there, and I thought they did a really good job of weaving in and out and making use of that small space.
I just really loved the sequence with the dancers, quote unquote dancers, and the bandages because I thought it was an extension of the Weeknd and who he was. It was the Weeknd multiplied as opposed to everything going on around the Weeknd, and that doesn't always happen with halftime shows. And while yes, that might not be my personal cup of tea. I still respected it where the artist who isn't a dancer was still the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
And also 2 points of highlight with him. His voice is really spectacular. He was singing live for about 90% of it.
So effortless. Like he not in a bad way, but it just felt like it was he wasn't really trying, but he was nailing it.
His voice is so melodic. It's really his best performance trait.
He's got like a natural auto tune. Like he can slide to notes and like stick to them and just.
I can listen to the halftime show set without watching it and still enjoy it because of how great it sounds from his voice alone, on top of the awesome mix that they put together.
The mix was great. The drums really stood out to me. I've mentioned to you, but the drum production and vibe. Like the drummer was. The drummer and the rhythm section are in charge of those like tempo changes and like between songs where you suddenly just you slip into a different tempo, and now we're doing this song, and that was so smooth.
Definitely.
The whole time.
And just to keep in mind for the folks at home, the drummers don't play live at the shows. It's all done pre-recorded. It's a full mix that they're playing to. There might be 1 or 2 instruments that cut in live.
It's a live recording.
Yes,
but it
plays during the show. They're not playing the instruments live. It's a track that they're working off, just for those that didn't know. But there's still a ton of production that goes into that mix in the rehearsal process, and that still sounded great. And I know a lot of people complained about the sound and the audio problem being a thing. Barney and I really didn't find there to be a problem, to be honest. It was okay for a live performance. What I found funny were people commenting they needed to fire the sound guy. Well, plot twist, that sound guy's been doing this for the last 20 years. So, 1, he's not going anywhere. And 2, we both understand and know he's doing exactly what he's doing. We know exactly what he's doing and what he's capable of for a halftime show, for a football game.
With a 6-minute setup time.
Again,
like, and I mentioned this the other day on the YDD show, talking about how it takes about an hour to set up for that show, Monday nights, 5 p.m., Young Coffee Network. But then like even today, this very small setup that we just put together for nights today, we're trying to take it a little easy, but even this took longer than 6 minutes, to set up. So the fact that they can even do that, it's kind of mind blowing.
They also have over 1,000 people working on that kind of stuff, but still, like it takes
to manage a team like that, and get everyone on.
And even less than normal years. Usually they have between 2,000 to 3,000 people helping out. They only had near 1,000 because of COVID.
Wow.
So significantly less. Granted, it was a smaller show in some regards. They didn't. Most of the stage was up on the stadium seats, which also I really liked that approach too, because it kind of. I don't know. I normally like when the stage is front and center in front of everyone, but it was very different to have it on there next to the pirate ship. I do think it would have been better if the Weeknd did use the pirate ship. That would have been fire.
That would have been cool.
Oh, that would.
But then that would have also been a little like tacky. It's kind of not tacky, but it's kind of weird that it was happening in that stadium anyway, with one of the teams playing. So I think then to have the Weeknd,
Oh, then it probably make it seem like he's playing favorites.
It makes it seem like he's playing favorites.
That's totally fair. Okay, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, or promoting one team or the other, which I can understand why he wouldn't do that.
I also
not that
understand.
It wouldn't have been dope, but I think if that wasn't one of the teams, he maybe would have.
Right. No, I think that's totally fair. Yeah, I was really excuse me. I was really impressed with it, even though it was smaller scale. Yeah. I also liked that there wasn't a guest artist. Some shows benefit from it. Certainly Katy Perry's did.
I was waiting for that. I was like, where's the guest artist?
They usually announce it beforehand.
Oh, really?
I'm not a fan of it. Sorry, guys. I had Reese's before we came on. We'll fix it in post. No, we won't. So
fix it in pre.
Like they've like done this thing where they announce who's going to be coming into the halftime show. I like being surprised. I
definitely would prefer to be surprised.
Nothing was cooler. Now, granted, I understand this was the Black Eyed Peas show, and people consider it one of the worst halftime shows, but nothing was cooler than having Usher drop down in AT&T Stadium from the sky to come on for performing OMG with will.i.am. Not seeing it coming, like, oh my God, they got Usher. That's cool.
Yep.
they've changed it up since. I the first time I remember them announcing a guest beforehand was having the Red Hot Chili Peppers on for Bruno Mars. And it's like, why didn't you guys surprise us with that? You didn't need that to hype up your show. Granted, Coldplay needed Beyonce and Bruno Mars to hype up their show, but that's a topic for another day.
And yeah, the hype would have been so much more real if suddenly Red Hot Chili Peppers were on stage and no one knew it was going to happen. Is that the Red? Who is that? Oh, that's that band. Oh, it's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, the Red Hot. You guys see the Red Hot Chili Peppers? You know, it would become an instant.
It's like a big Marvel cameo, just dropping in out of nowhere.
Yep.
We'll talk about that in a few weeks. But yeah, like it was so cool having like Missy Elliott and Lenny Kravitz for Katy Perry's show, but it also took away from Katy Perry's set overall. Even though there were clear highlights with their performances, it's less time for the main artist to use their catalog. With The Weeknd, I was okay with him using his whole catalog because it reminded me that, he actually has a lot of top quality hits.
Janet Jackson had the worst guest performance in Justin Timberlake. Yes.
I will actually...
That depends on where you are on how much of that was planned and not.
I will also, which of course we also have talked about here on the show, I will say that in terms of a guest contributing to the show, Justin really didn't contribute that much to the show. It felt very rushed and forced. Apart from that, right. But if you go and actually watch the show with Justin, that felt very forced.
Well, he was a young artist at the time. I mean, I know
he was just trying to build himself off of NSYNC
as a solo artist.
Right. Yeah.
Super. Now he's this. He's very confident. He knows his sound and his style, and he has a lot of fans.
Yeah. No, he was building.
I think back then, yeah,
he was absolutely building.
But that was probably a good move for him to help build.
But I don't even think he was singing live for that one either. I think it was just to the track.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah. Well. Did we talk about this last week?
What of the show? We talked about it on our Super Bowl pre-show.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Which, Merrick was saying there was Janet had planned to have it a reveal of a red bra that was underneath, and there was some kind of issue with the seamstress.
And then MC Ninja came in. MC Ninja Kitten came in and said that if you sew it up bad, it'll fall apart. Yeah. So.
She said as a seamstress, it is possible for something like that to happen if it was rushed. So there's lots of different. I don't think it's that much of a conspiracy theory. Really, it's kind of like, for me, it's just one of those media things. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what's planned and what isn't, because it's the outcome that matters.
What happened?
It's the publicity that matters. Like, so really, yeah. Do I think it was staged? Sure. Like Merrick doesn't think it was, right? You don't think it was?
Correct. But does it matter?
But it doesn't.
No.
It really doesn't matter. What happened, and it was a huge boost for
one artist and a huge blacklisting for another.
Yeah.
Which is again a fact, not a conspiracy.
Right. Not
theory,
yeah.
It's clear as day. But so thanks to them, we have YouTube.
So not hugely conspirators, but
so if
interesting to think about.
If you were looking for something as dynamic as that for the Weeknd's show, sorry, you didn't get that. But I thought it was just.
But he had a ruby suit, a ruby
40
jacket,
pounds,
a 40-pound ruby jacket.
Why? But yeah, so as far as verdicts go, to wrap up on said topic, I would give it probably 7.5 out of 10.
Oh yeah, I would say 6.5.
That's fair.
I'll give it a 7. Yeah, I'd give him a 7.
I think it would be interesting to maybe next year go back and watch all the halftime shows and actually make a ranked list and actually compare, starting from Michael's show in 1993 and then figuring out the dynamic from that.
Am I in like, without really thinking about it too much, like Katy Perry really stands out to me. Katy Perry's performance really stands out, and that was largely due to the giant lion tiger that she rode across on, and Left Shark and the sharks and the guests. All of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was very memorable, and I remember it being a cool performance. And I like Katy Perry's music anyway, so I'm just a sucker for that kind of that kind of pop.
That's fair. I maybe I would put that as a number 2 off the top of my head. Right. And it was also the most watched one, so everyone saw it. Everyone knows about the lion.
There you go. It's funny though, because I also remember afterwards the backlash just being like, so many people just being like, oh, that was garbage. Like, it was a terrible performance.
But
and, like,
they'll
it was
say that
cheesy and gimmicky.
We found that people will say this about every halftime show till the end of halftime shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter.
Prince is the number one Lucha Bear. Don't worry.
Like what you like. I'm tired of trying to persuade people otherwise that they're wrong in this regard, because
like
it's always
what you
going to
like.
be the same topic every year.
You know what? Like, I don't want to convince. I don't have any interest in convincing people what to like. What I do have an interest in convincing people to do is to like what you like, and not worry about what other people think, and not worry about trying to bring stuff down so much. Like, if you the old adage, right? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But like, it really is the case. Like, if you let's say, for example, you are not enjoying this stream right now and you hate everything the Knights of the Dirty Table do, then stop watching and go find something else to watch. But don't like yell at us and say how terrible we are, because people enjoy this, you know? And like, if anyone enjoys it and it's not harmful in some way, because that's another thing. Like, if it's harmful content, or it's, you know, offensive content, that's another thing. But if you just don't like it because you think it's bad or cheesy, move on, find something else.
Or you could also say that we suck and then share it with all your friends and tell everyone else why we suck. That kind of helps too. So yeah.
Yes, post the link to our stream in as many forums as you want to tell them how bad our show is.
These guys are garbage. Watch their show.
We love it. Love it. But yeah, I would say, you know, hi, what's up, Trash Guitar?
Yo!
Yeah, I would say, you know, love what you love, and just get into that, and don't waste too much time hating, because it's not good for you. It's not good for the person that you're hating on. Negative energy.
I thought it was good. Do I think that The Weeknd is still a great live performer? No. But was he better than the kind of low expectations that I had from the get-go? Yeah, absolutely. He kind of knocked it out of the park as far as the expectations that I set. And I think it'd be cool to revisit halftime shows in the future where we kind of like really dissect them, because I think that'd be fun, because again, they are the biggest concerts in the world and they do matter.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it. I'd love to watch a bunch.
Yeah. Whoa. Welcome to the end of the Knights of the Dirty Table video that you just watched. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our video, share with all your friends, and catch our live stream every Friday live at 5, only on the Zenden Studios Twitch channel. I gotta go wander off into space. See ya! Whoa! Whoa!